The spring rains had just ended when the fields outside the small farming village turned bright green again. Water still clung to the rice shoots, reflecting the pale morning sky like thousands of tiny mirrors. Farmers moved slowly through the mud with practiced patience, bending their backs to the work that had fed generations before them. Among them was a young man named Liang Wei. Most people in the village believed Liang Wei was nothing more than an ordinary farmer struggling to survive like everyone else. His clothes were simple. His small house sat near the edge of the rice fields, its roof patched with old straw. He carried his own tools and worked from sunrise until evening. But the truth was something few people knew. Liang Wei was the only son of Liang Jian, the wealthiest landowner in the entire region. Years earlier, when Liang Wei's father had grown old and ill, he had called his son into his study and spoken to him with a seriousness that Liang Wei had never forgotten. "Land and money can build a house," the old man had said quietly, "but they cannot build a good marriage." Liang Wei had listened carefully. One day, his father continued, "You will inherit everything I own. But before that happens, you must find someone who loves you, not the wealth that comes with your name." So Liang Wei made a decision. He left the large estate where he had grown up and moved to the small farming village several miles away. There he lived simply, working like any other farmer, telling no one about his family fortune. He wanted to meet someone who would see only the man he truly was. At first it seemed like a good plan, but time passed, and the search was not as easy as he had imagined. In the village there were many young women. Some were lively and talkative, some clever and confident, some known for their beauty. Yet whenever marriage was mentioned, the conversations often drifted toward money, land, or comfort. Liang Wei watched quietly. He listened more than he spoke, and slowly he began to realize something. Many people said they valued kindness and honesty, but when life was difficult, those qualities often mattered less than security. Still, he refused to give up hope. Every morning he worked his fields. Every evening he returned to his small home, cooking simple meals and sitting beneath the fading sunlight. The villagers had grown used to seeing him alone. One afternoon near the beginning of summer, the village elder arrived with news. "A new family has moved into the old Chen house," he said. Liang Wei nodded politely. New families came occasionally, though few stayed long. Life in the village was hard. 3 daughters, the elder added with a grin. Their father passed away during the winter. Liang Wei offered a sympathetic expression. Losing a parent was never easy. Over the next few days, the new family slowly became part of village life. The eldest daughter, Mei Lin, was known almost immediately. She spoke loudly and laughed often, drawing attention wherever she went. The middle daughter, Hua Lin, was friendly and energetic, always eager to talk with neighbors. But the youngest daughter was different. Her name was Lai Na. She spoke very little. Most villagers barely noticed her at first. While her sisters chatted in the marketplace or shared stories with neighbors, Lai Na worked quietly beside her mother in the fields or carried water from the well. Her movements were calm and careful. Her eyes rarely lingered on anyone for long. She seemed content simply doing her work. One morning, Liang Wei noticed her while repairing a fence near the road. She was walking slowly with 2 heavy buckets of water balanced across a wooden pole. The path was muddy from recent rain. As she stepped over a patch of wet ground, one of the buckets slipped from its rope and fell into the mud. Water spilled everywhere. Lai Na stood still for a moment, looking at the mess. Most people would have sighed loudly or complained. She didn't. She quietly set down the other bucket and began scooping the water back with a small bowl she carried. Liang Wai watched from the fence. After a few minutes, he walked over. "You'll never refill it that way," he said gently. Lai Na looked up in surprise. She hadn't noticed him before. Her cheeks turned slightly pink. "I know," she said softly. He lifted the empty bucket. "There's a stream nearby. I'll help you." She hesitated. "You don't have to. It's no trouble." They walked together toward the stream. For most of the walk, Lai Na remained silent. Liang Wai noticed she seemed nervous. Finally he said, "You're new in the village." She nodded. "My family arrived last week." "Do you like it here?" She looked across the fields. "It's peaceful." They reached the stream and filled the buckets. As they walked back, Liang Wai asked, "Why were you trying to scoop the water instead of just refilling it?" Lai Na looked thoughtful. "My mother was waiting," she said. "I didn't want to make her worry by taking too long." Liang Wai felt something warm in his chest. It was a simple answer, but it said a lot about her. Over the next several weeks, their paths crossed often. Sometimes in the fields, sometimes near the well, sometimes in the marketplace. Each time, Liang Wai noticed small things about her. She always helped older villagers carry heavy baskets. She often gave part of her own lunch to children who had less. She never spoke badly about anyone, and she never tried to draw attention to herself. One evening, Liang Wai invited her to share tea outside his small house. She seemed hesitant at first, but eventually she agreed. They sat beneath the fading light of sunset, drinking warm tea and watching fireflies begin to glow in the grass. "Your sisters are very lively," Liang Wai said. Lai Na smiled slightly. "Yes, they are very brave. Brave, they speak easily with people. And you don't." She shook her head gently. "I prefer quiet." There was something peaceful about the way she said it, not shy in a fearful way. Simply calm. After that evening, they began spending more time together. Sometimes they walked along the edge of the rice fields. Sometimes they shared meals. Liang Wai never mentioned his family's wealth. To Lai Na, he was simply a hardworking farmer with a kind heart. Months passed. Then one day, news spread through the village. A wealthy landowner nearby had begun searching for a bride for his son. The son had inherited enormous fields and many servants. The announcement caused excitement. Many families began discussing the opportunity. Mei Lin and Hua Lin were especially interested. "He must be very handsome," Mei Lin said eagerly, "and rich," Hua Lin added. One evening they asked Lai Na if she planned to meet him. She shook her head. "I'm not interested." "Why not?" Mei Lin asked. Lai Na thought for a moment. "I think marriage should be about kindness," she said quietly. Her sisters laughed. "You can't cook kindness for dinner." Hua Lin joked, but Lai Na simply smiled. She didn't argue. Meanwhile, Liang Wai had heard the same news. He watched how people reacted. Many spoke about wealth and comfort. Few mentioned love. One afternoon, as he walked beside Lai Na near the fields, he asked a question. "If you could marry anyone," he said carefully, "what kind of man would you choose?" Lai Na considered the question. Finally she said, "Someone honest. That's all." She smiled gently. "That is already difficult to find." He laughed softly. "What about money?" She shook her head. "My father used to say money is like rain. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. And love, that should stay." Her answer stayed in Liang Wai's mind for days. Finally, he made a decision. One evening, he invited Lai Na to walk with him beyond the village. They followed a quiet path through the hills until they reached a large wooden gate. Lai Na stopped. Beyond the gate stood a vast estate, beautiful gardens, tall houses, rows of servants' quarters. She looked confused. "Why do we come here?" Liang Wai took a deep breath. "This is my home." Her eyes widened. "What?" "My father owns all this land," he explained. "I don't understand. I pretended to be poor," he admitted quietly. Her face went pale. "Why?" "Because I wanted someone to love me for who I am, not what I own." Silence filled the evening air. For a moment Liang Wei feared he had made a terrible mistake. But Lai Na slowly stepped closer. "You worked in the fields every day," she said. "Yes." "You lived in that small house." "Yes." "Then you didn't pretend," she said softly. "You simply lived simply." He looked at her in surprise. "You're not angry?" She shook her head. "I'm happy." "Why?" "Because now I know the truth," she said. And the man I cared about is still the same." Liang Wei felt relief wash through him. "Lai Na," he said gently, "would you marry me?" Her eyes filled with quiet tears. "Yes." Not because of the estate behind the gate, not because of the wealth he possessed, but because the man she had come to know in the fields was still standing before her. And that was the only thing that truly mattered. In the quiet village where their story began, people later said something interesting about the marriage. Of all the sisters who dreamed of wealth, it was the quietest one who found the greatest happiness. Because while others searched for riches, Lai Na had simply looked for a good heart. And in doing so, she had found a love that